Our final Champions League campaign begins in today's episode, and I'm pretty sure we've been given the hardest league phase draw of anyone in the whole tournament. We've got some big hitters that we need to get through. Hello and welcome back to Unemployed to Legends Club 4, episode 19 with Liverpool. My name is Craig, and coming up on today's episode we have the first two Champions League matches of the league phase. Away against Inter Milan and home against Ajax. Now, since you were last with me, we've done about a handful of Premier League games, if I actually get up on the screen. After the victory against Bournemouth, we did lose against Tottenham, but then thankfully we've rattled off 4 Premier League wins in a row, including against Arsenal. Pleasing, yet it's still quite bittersweet for me. But in the Premier League, that does leave us joint top with Manchester United. Interestingly, Leeds, after beating us in the Community Shield, I've still got that at the back of my mind. They did kind of fall off in the last couple of matches to the point they're outside the top 7, but it's good to know that everybody in the Premier League is basically capable of beating each other still. Now, the big one obviously for us this season will still be the Champions League. I did say we've got some big hitters for who we've got to face in the league phase. Of course, Inter Milan we're playing first game of this episode. Then we've got Ajax later on. And then after that, the rest of the campaign, well, look who's rocked up. We're playing PSG again. I thought we'd seen the last of them, but apparently not. We have got to go and try and get past PSG, and then we have also got to get past the team that finished second to the team who dumped us out of the Champions League last season, Bayern Munich, Hertha Berlin. They finished second in the Bundesliga last season, and by the looks of it, they are currently sitting in third. Yeah, they're the third best team at the moment in the Bundesliga. Naturally, Bayern Munich dominating everybody. If I just quickly show last season, how close were they? They were 9 points behind Bayern Munich. Okay, so they're going to be quite a good side. I think we found where the next episode is going to be already. It'll be PSG and Hertha Berlin, after hopefully we see off Inter Milan and Ajax in this episode. Inter Milan are currently top of Serie A, so we do have a situation. It is the top of Serie A versus the top of the Premier League. In fact, before we get into the match itself as well, transfer window is closed, deadline day has come and gone. We didn't do anything on deadline day, but we did bring in a backup goalkeeper for behind Marcel Lotka, Gabriel Slolina, there we go. American, 28-year-old American international. I think he was born somewhere else, wasn't he? He was the guy who swapped. Yeah, he was born in... Well, actually no, he was born in the United States, but he was of Polish descent, but then he chose to represent America. I remember that being a thing in the news like a year or two ago. I can't remember when it was. But regardless, he has come in as a backup. Bought him in from Lazio for £11.5 million. Actually, I'll correct myself, it was my director of football who bought him in for £11.5 million. He wasn't even on my radar, but I just saw him after the offer was made and I thought, well, he's good enough. He can sit behind Lotka. He'll be fine. He's had a long stint at Chelsea though. Everybody seems to pass through the Premier League at some point before us. It's kind of ridiculous, but regardless, we've got ourselves a backup, so it takes the pressure off Magomed Uran, of course. We won't be seeing him in today's game. Well, I kind of hope not, because that would mean Lotka has done something very, very stupid. But this is going to be the 11 that we are going to send out for the first game against Inter. Lotka in goal. Back for Silva, Borja, Becerra and Szymon Yuntak. Becerra, by the way, I didn't realise, I probably didn't check before, he is apparently temperamental, which has got one or two of the other squad players kind of feeling like he's just going to blow up at some point, and it's got me a little bit concerned. He's not massively aggressive, he's brave, but he's not massively aggressive. It just makes me think, when did that become a thing? Like I said, I never checked it before, so it might have been there the whole time. If so, don't have to worry too much about it, but just something to keep an eye on. Stingel at the base in the midfield with Lavia and Ricky ahead of him. Charles de Catalari in attacking midfield, Ross and Tobar, the two strikers up front. Interestingly, I just saw that Diego Simeone is the manager of Inter Milan, so I'm expecting a very physical match. The stadium is actually quite nice. I've not seen this design in Football Manager before. Of course, when the new match engine comes in FM25, I'm hoping the stadiums get more of an upgrade as well, along with the players. That would be very nice to see, especially with the Champions League graphics, and if I can get it fixed by then, the Champions League music as well. It's something that we tried to include in the videos way back early in this series, but the sound itself, the music just didn't come out as well, so that's why I don't play any of the music before the European matches. If it doesn't come out well over the speakers or into the game itself, then also on the video itself, I'm not going to lower the quality just so we can hear some tiny amount of music. Right, we've got the ball here. Stingel into CDK, playing very deep there, by the way. We are away from home, so naturally I've just gone with a balanced mentality. My gosh, CDK, a great goal, by the way. His 7th goal of the season. We're only a month and a half into the season. But the guy started in his own half. Let's have a look. There he is. I'm trying to click on him. There we go. You just see him running all the way from his own half, and he just powers that into the back of the net. He has been on form goal-wise. Like I said before, we brought him in like 2 seasons ago to be an assist maker, but the man has been banging in goals for fun. It's actually quite fun, not funny, but it's pleasing to see. At least it's in the goal contributions. I think that's his 59th. I counted it up before this video. That's his 59th goal contribution in just over 2 seasons. And Samuel Ricky, I completely forgot about that man at the start of this season. He hasn't played too many games. He's been sitting on the bench, bless him. But he's just reminded me why I should be playing him more often. He's starting ahead of Sestari because I forgot Sestari is actually registered for the Champions League this time. But well done, Ricky. I think that's his first goal of the season. I didn't actually look properly. But if so, he's back in my plans. Just having a look, Bayern Munich are playing Manchester City. They're drawing 1-1. Both teams have had someone sent off. So that's an ill-tempered game. But also, be good to see if Bayern Munich... Oh, Ross is through here. Oh, he's just hit the post. It'd be good to see if Man City are capable of beating Bayern Munich, then we should be as well, because we completely destroyed Man City last season. Granted, Man City could be a completely different team this season, but it's difficult to tell in the Premier League because, like I said, everybody's just capable of beating each other. I mean, one thing that is certain, Haaland is just going to score goals regardless, isn't he? The man is just a goal machine. Lavia into Silva. Actually, Haaland still scored, I think, 36 goals last season. The next closest to him was like 22 goals, so he's still dominating in the Golden Boot area, but I'd rather win actual trophies instead of just the Golden Boot. Oh, what a tackle by Shiman. That is excellent. Ross, what? I don't know why he's going for the shot there. That wasn't brilliant. That was a bit frustrating, but whatever. We are 2-0 up at half-time. Not a high-scoring or higher chance game, but we are out XGing Inter Milan at the moment. What are we going to go for here? You're doing brilliantly. Yeah, just keep up the morale. That's all we need to do for the second half. Just noticing as well, West Ham versus Atletico Madrid. I keep forgetting West Ham are in the Champions League. They are a strong side. We've got them in the Carabao Cup again, by the way, which that's for the 2nd year in a row in the 3rd round stage, which is kind of mad. But again, I'm just going to be sending out the young players in that. Literally just going to be sending out all the fringe players. No need to go mad with that competition. We're not aiming to win it, and I know we did last season, but same rules apply. But we are making a few changes. Siman is going to come off. Jovanovic coming on at right back. Lavia is going to come off for a break, and Adam Wharton will go on. And Samuel Ricky is actually tired, so you know what? He's going to come off for Sestari, which this is his first Champions League match, by the way. Not first European match, but just in the Champions League. This is his first one. Amaral will come on for Manuel Silva. I'm forgetting the poor guy's name already. I'm so sorry. But we've got less than 20 minutes left. Just trying to wear down the match. Didn't even realise we didn't have a highlight at all for the second half. Tabar. Poor shot. Thinking he should have squared it, but it's fine. I like to see my strikers actually having shots on goal. Right, final substitution. Who's looking very, very tired? Everyone. Borgia is going to come off for Debola. Debola has been wanting more match time recently. I've not made him any promises, but let's just give him a bit of time. And I was hoping to come back to you right at the end of the game, but instead there is one more highlight, it seems. Ross, which we've managed to win the ball back in, by the way. Amaral, don't be silly, thank you. Just pass it off. When Debola has got more common sense than you, I do kind of worry. Right, Jovanovic should be cleaning that up. Lotka, good. It's good to see Jovanovic finally getting some match time instead of being a disruptive influence over the squad. Speaking of which, that is why... Oh, thank goodness I went flying over. Great victory away from home, by the way, against the leaders of Serie A. Perfect. That was an excellent win, and that's a great confidence booster against one of the top teams of Europe. How did Bayern Munich do, by the way? Oh, for God's sake, they won. Okay, not even Man City could beat them. PSG did win. Hertha Berlin dispatched the Sporting. We are facing Sporting later on in the league phase. West Ham beat Atletico Madrid in Spain. This West Ham squad is not messing around, are they? Right, we are going to come back for that Ajax match, which will be after a bunch of games in between. Actually, we're playing Man City just before that as well. We're not focusing on the Premier League. Full steam ahead for the Champions League. Right, 3 matches later, 2 victories and sadly a defeat away at Manchester City, but it's Manchester City. Apparently though, in the Champions League, not a problem when playing Man City, but in the Premier League, still a bit dodgy. So that does leave us currently in 2nd place in the Premier League. It's okay, it's still early days, 8 games into the season. And as for the League Cup, we sent out the fringe players and still beat West Ham 3-0. Yes, Charlie Ross came on. It was like 10 to 15 minutes left. We had a lot of tired players. And speaking of tired players, we've had to do a bit of rotation for this Champions League match. I've had to send Lavia and Stingel on holiday because they both needed it. I don't really want those two getting overloaded with a lot of game time. Plus, that's how injuries happen. So I would want to avoid that as much as possible, which is why De Catalare is not going to start. He's still tired, as is Becerra and Saravia. They're both tired as well. In other news, actually, Anderson Luiz, he's still out with injury, but he's only 3 weeks away from coming back, so hopefully he'll be back in time for the next episode. Excellent stuff. We need Anderson Luiz. Hopefully he'll be able to get back to the good form that he's been in for the past 2 seasons. But there's been a few changes to the starting 11. Lotka is still in goal. Back 4 of Amaral, Debola, Borja and Siman at the base, in midfield. Debola and Borja, they don't team up too often, but Debola wants more game time, so here you are. Katanic at the base of midfield. Wharton, when was the last time we saw him play on camera? And Sestari in midfield. Migliorini in attacking midfield. Ross and Luis Carlos, the 2 men up front. It's a good opportunity to just showcase a few different players on camera. I mean, like I said, when was the last time you saw Adam Wharton? The poor guy just sits on the bench more often than not. Let's make home advantage count today. We are playing Ajax. I still see him as a very a decent team who are going to get through to the round of 16. They're a sort of European heritage club at this point, but it's always good to go up against a side like Ajax. Just make sure that you are staying ahead of them. They're playing a lot of players, very, very deep. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. But a few different players playing a bit of Champions League football. Katanic, when was the last time you saw him play? He just plays only when Stingel doesn't play. So, of course, Stingel is on holiday. He'll be missing the next league match as well against West Ham United. So, hopefully he'll be available for that. I've also got to watch out for Shiman, who could also get very, very tired. We do have Jovanovic and Amaral who can come in at right back as well, as Borja just cleans up very, very nicely. Excellent stuff. Play it out. It's also important actually to see Debola get some more game time. He is sort of 3rd or 4th best defender, and I just want to make sure that he stays match fit. I don't know how Ross, by the way, missed that opportunity. He has been training a trait to basically hit the ball first time. That would have been a very good time to do it, so I wish he'd already known that trait in advance. Not quite the case, as we've just been beaten at right back here, and luckily Ajax just blazed the ball over. Shiman Yuntak is on a wing back, role. Let's have a look. Yeah, wing back. Do you know what? Let's just have him defend. And in fact, what am I seeing here? Is he been drawn? Katanic apparently is being drawn out of position. So he's supposed to mark. Oh, did they change formation? Because they had an attacking midfielder. Alright then. In that case, actually, don't mark anyone. Looks like Ajax might just have changed their formation. We'll have a look in a moment. Very clever. Is total football still a thing? Then clearly, of course, it is at Ajax because it's Ajax. Adam Wharton's just having the ball passed all around him here. The guy's an England international and he's just being passed around like he's a League Two player. That's a bit troubling. And God, they're just breaking through our lines very, very quickly there. We have just made a couple of changes. Let's just have a look. Yeah, they're not playing. Oh, okay. So just behind my heads, they're not playing with any wingers now. Of course, they showed it at the beginning of the match. I don't know how I missed that. So we'll just play Simon as a wing back on defence then. That might just be inviting their wing back onto us, to be fair. Oh God, we need to sort him out actually. He has been drawn. Oh, Ross has got a chance here. So my train of thought completely disrupted there by Ross getting a goal. We'll just make the player instructions for Shiman. He's not going to be marking anyone now. That's probably why he's been pulled all over the place. Right, that might help things a little bit. The ball just bouncing around in the area, and Charlie Ross on the end of that makes up for his miss, whatever that was earlier on. And we go 1-0 up against Ajax as we head for half-time. Hopefully that'll make things hopefully a little bit easier for poor Shiman. He's just been dragged out of position as well, but no longer. It is now 1-0 to us at half-time. Yeah, just keep their morale up. That's all I can ask at the moment. And speaking of poor Shiman Yuntak, he is very, very tired. So, Jovanovic, where are you? You are in the Champions League squad this season, so there you go. He's going to come on. And just looking, Sestari, I do want him available for the weekend game, so Ricky is going to come on. And you know what, that's the only changes we'll make just for the moment. As we have ourselves a corner. We are shooting this way, have to remind myself, Ajax are going the other way this half. So, who's taking this? Adam Wharton with the corner, swings it in, back post, it is cleared. Luis Carlos, I was about to have a shot, but that was so wild. He has scored 2 goals in like 3 starts this season so far. But it just feels like he is on the decline now. Actually, his attributes are showing he is kind of on the decline, which is a shame. I don't really want to see that, but hey, nothing we can realistically do about that. He is 32 years old. Speaking of 30-year-olds, Ronaldo, I think he is 30 now. Yeah, he's 30 years old, my goodness. He's coming on for Charlie Ross. And Amaral is going to go off for Manuel Silva. Yeah, he'll go off for Manuel Silva. I think we get one more substitution as well. We'll make that in a little bit. We've still got 18 minutes to go. Still only 1-0 at the moment, and we've got a lot of tired midfielders. Also, no, Charlie Ross didn't go off. My apologies. It was Luis Carlos. Don't know why I was saying Ross in the first place. Katanic is going to go off for Trent Alexander-Arnold. He can just sit there as the deep line playmaker at the base in the midfield. TAA didn't want to leave in the summer, but nobody was willing to buy him. Nobody was willing to pay his wages, from what I remember. He's on 300,000 a week. I kind of don't blame them. There's a lot of clubs who were balking at that price, as there is a free kick for Ajax and it just about goes over. But yeah, if I was any other club except maybe a Man City or Saudi Arabian club, I would balk at paying that £300,000 as well. As I was about to say, getting into full time, but we have a highlight with about a minute to go. I'm hoping this is just one of those highlights where it's the end of the game and the game has just decided to play out the last minute. It's been doing that a lot more recently. It stopped that for a period of time and now it's just decided to bring it back. TAA, nice to see him on the pitch again after what feels like ages since seeing him. Ross, Jovanovic. For clarity, TAA started like one game this entire season. That's why I don't see him on the pitch very often. Ronaldo, not that tall, is he? Ping pong ball at the moment. There is Ronaldo. Oh, what an assist by Migliorini. And Ronaldo finally gets his head to it. It is 2-0. Job done for this match. And we will move on to the next episode where we will be facing the Giants of PSG. And then Hertha Berlin. Why are we facing Hertha Berlin? Because we need to make sure that we can beat the second place team, or the second best team in Germany, so that we set up what could be a redemption arc against Bayern Munich later this season. It almost feels like it's written. I mean, this is Football Manager. It does write these sort of scripts every now and then, but there's only one way we're going to find out, and that is later this season. We just have to make sure we finish in the top 8 of the league phase to start with. And from there, we take it step by step with, obviously, each round of the knockouts of the Champions League. Lavia and Stingel are on 1 week leave, so they'll miss the next match against West Ham. We will be back, as I've mentioned, for PSG and Hertha Berlin on Wednesday. If you have enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all for your support on the series so far. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.